Hey, it's Drybear. If you're a fan of TF2 or Dota 2 or Valve in general, then you want to pay attention to the news this week. We've known that they've been working on some projects internally at Valve for quite some time, but this week we actually got some gameplay leaks from their latest title, which turns out to be a mix between a hero shooter and a MOBA. And all the leaks came from either a Discord stream that was internal, since all this was NDA, or from some unknown leaker. So most of the quality is pretty terrible, so bear with me. So the general layout looks like this. It is looking like, from the leaks, that we have a 4-lane system, and it is 6v6. And at first it seemed like it was going to be more of a hero shooter, more of a situation where we're seeing like an Overwatch or even like a Valorant, that kind of style. But when you actually go in and look at the footage of the gameplay and the aspects of the game itself, it is actually a MOBA. There are creeps that are little monsters that are running up and down all 4 of the lanes. There are towers that you have to destroy. There is actually last hitting, like in every major MOBA on the planet, and you can even deny your creatures just like you can in Dota 2. So as you're leveling up, there's character progression, there's a whole bunch of characters to choose from, and you are having this 4-lane wide map choice where you're playing kind of like this hero shooter, MOBA, third-person shooter gameplay. And my big take on this is that it feels pretty late in the game to be getting this kind of game out on the market, right? As far as hero shooters go, it feels very late to get a hero shooter out now in 2024. Now, granted, if you have the pedigree and the background that Valve does, and of course you have the delivery platform of Steam, there's always going to be some fan base that likes having that kind of gameplay in their options for playing with their friends that night and what they want to boot up and play. But I think a hero shooter and a MOBA, it's pretty late for either one of those games to come online. The question is the marrying of those two genres together going to be enough to keep people interested? You can see the map in the bottom right corner. There is this 4-lane map. It looks like there's 2 sets of towers with probably barracks slash phoenixes slash inhibitor, or whatever you want to call it, at the very end there as it comes down to the base. There are also shops laid out all over the map where you can spend currency that you collect inside of the game to spend at the shops to buy things. There's also mobs, as you see on screen right here. This is a jungle mob that they can clear to get valuable items or to boost up their character. So you spend the currency in the shop, and you can also get individual character progression just like a MOBA. So your character will get stronger throughout the course of the match. You'll be able to spend at the shops and travel around. Since it is more kind of like that third-person aspect, there's less options for travel as you would see in like a MOBA, but there is actual like zip lines that you can move from area to area, though you're all vulnerable to being shot at while you're riding these zip lines. And if you get shot at when you're not protected, you can actually get stunned. But you can see him marking specific towers there. You have a KDA showing for this. So it is basically a MOBA in its bones and how it works, but there is a camera and functional combat perspective of a hero shooter, a class-based shooter put together. The zip lines seem to be, at least in the build that we see here, limited to the lanes that they're in, so you can actually ride it from your base out. I don't think I've seen anyone ride the zip lines backwards, so it's kind of like a way to get back to your lane so it doesn't get destroyed right away. But it is a third-person perspective shooter combat, so you don't want people teleporting all over the place constantly. There's a zip line that takes you to your lane, and there's a teleporter that takes you close to your base if you want to buy items and kind of use that to gain power to make your character stronger. Now, a couple years ago, there was a Neon Prime, or even what was possibly referred to as a Citadel game that was in development for Valve. This is some of the early leaks that we got for that. And it's possible, based on the UI elements and the perspective and the functional gameplay, that this is the project they've been working on. And Valve is no stranger to killing projects even very late in the stage. Even the map looks the same, so it's very possible that this Neon Prime, there's the zip line there, was the early version a couple years ago of what we're seeing now as Deadlock. Now the question is this something they're looking to release, or will they actually release it? This is the closest we've seen. I mean, if you look at this footage from a couple years ago versus the footage we've seen of the leak from this week, a lot of polish has gone into making the game look a lot better animation quality, model quality, texture quality. The UI is way more fleshed out. There's tutorials, which usually only get done once you get to like a friends and family or alpha testing state where you need people to learn the game, or when you're looking to go into like an early alpha or closed beta option for the game itself. So it's very possible that they are looking at a shorter timeline for Deadlock coming out, but at the same time, we don't really know if they're just going to allow this to go through or not. The reaction for this game, for the footage of Deadlock coming out, has actually been kind of hit or miss. Some people are saying that they wouldn't really give up their Valorant or their Overwatch for this, considering it is actually at its core a MOBA. And also, if they're playing a MOBA like Dota 2 or League of Legends, or they're playing the new the remakes that are out right now, they're not really looking to switch over. Though I'm wondering if some percentage of the player base for TF2 or Dota 2 and any of the Valve games, or anyone just curious, will jump on this game. And the big selling point is going to be whether or not it has the retention. If people play the game and have fun, they're going to probably keep playing it and keep supporting it. And considering Valve is usually a lower budget development team, they tend to have smaller teams with less developers, it might be something that they just put out and then support with the workshop and the player base and community base to keep it flowing, and it's something that we play. But based on this has made a lot of progress from the last leak that we saw, so it's something to keep your eye on. If you found value in today's video, leave a like down below, leave a comment for the algorithm to help this video get seen by more people. And don't forget to check out my other channels for other content and other stuff and other things.